In recent years, there's been a push towards taking care of our climate, especially to do with the climate strikes. I wanted to know how that affects education towards the environment today, especially as my sister is an animal conservationist who teaches young kids about the environment. Unfortunately, this job means she works under an oil refinery. I wanted to know how that affects how she works and how that affects her view of the whole climate strike.
We are right now in the beginning of a climate and ecological crisis.
So I remember as a kid I heard about climate change in like year 6. Do you feel like you mention it quicker now to sort of get kids aware quicker?
Yeah, but also I think they mention it quicker. I've definitely seen that children are definitely more aware of the environment. They know a lot more, even from a younger age. So I definitely think there's more awareness about it.
Last year, 2019, there was a lot of climate strikes and climate awareness going on to do with Greta Thunberg. Did it spark after that, or was it even before that there was quite a lot of talk of it?
Yeah, I think it was definitely before that, but I think obviously schools came down there knowing things like that were happening before the kids come down, so they definitely ask a little bit more.
Do you feel that your job then becomes slightly more difficult from a moral standpoint? You're funded by an oil refinery.
Yeah.
And the conservation site is next to the oil refinery. You get the kids asking about that quite a lot?
Not really, more sort of people my age and adults. So when I say that the job I do, they're like, oh, that's amazing. And they say, oh yeah, I work for an oil refinery. They definitely sort of be like, what? But I think that once you realise that nowadays companies do have to do something about it, then they've got a huge range of habitats surrounding the refinery that they look after and manage. And sometimes I do think to myself, you know, when you're taking the sessions and you can see the refinery in the background, it's definitely a very controversial topic. And children don't seem to mind that there's like, oh, it's just the refinery. My dad works there, my granddad, my uncle. They don't seem to make the connection between the two. Obviously, my dad works in the refinery, so I see it from two very different sides. And you know, that refinery, that is the people that give me the job that I have currently. So it's two very different things. And I think that does give me a very rounded, non-biased perspective. Obviously, I know that refineries aren't the best thing in the world, but as long as companies continue to try and offset their emissions or what they're doing, I think it's not a bad thing.
Do you feel like it should be a gradual changeover?
It's going to have to be a gradual change. It's nice, and you can be blindsided into think of everything is bad, you can't do that. But in the same time, you've got to realise by doing things like that, they put essentially people's lives at risk, and lots of people's lives at risk. And essentially they stopped us from giving a session. I can understand the emotional side towards things and the passion. They stopped us from teaching them about the importance of the environment whilst trying to save the environment.
People like Megan here aren't asking you to stop caring about the environment. In fact, far from it. There is a speed of progression which will ensure no one is left behind. One that Megan sees. One that will lead to a world we can all enjoy, that is clean and full of life.
Everything needs to change, and it has to start today.